So Cass, and this is where Luke Gale becomes the big star, because you've done the rounds at a couple of other clubs. One transition, one's starting to struggle. Castleford, on the other hand, are going on an upward curve when you arrive. I think you're a key part of that rise, as is the coach, Darryl Powell. I mean, we're talking about the several coaches you've worked with. He's got to take a lot of credit for what's happened down Weldon Road.
100%, yeah. I do. Throughout my career, it's probably something we can touch on after. I do think I've been lucky with the coaches I've had. I mean, we didn't mention Ellery Hanley. I got coached by Ellery at Doncaster. And I do feel throughout my career, I've took lots from each coach. And Powley, this deal come about, I remember Craig again, Craig Harrison, he got the deal. He said, look, you'll be a great fit for Castleford. I remember watching them that year, 2014. They got to the Challenge Cup final, playing some great rugby. And I'd already been watching. I met Powley. I don't know when it was, but I met him before I'd signed, sort of thing. And we had an hour talking rugby. And I remember coming out of that, I met him at his house, coming out of the meeting and said, look, I want to sign here within a second. And I think the deal were done probably next day. And yeah, it was just fantastic. And I think I got asked this question actually the other day. What was it that changed? Is it you as a player getting better? I think I went in, I was playing with better players. And I just think Powley's system and the system that they had, it opened my eyes and I was like, this is how you're meant to play rugby. Counting numbers and realising what I needed to do to manipulate this defence and what vision were in front of me. And I think Powley, it kind of just everything just clicked. And Cass and Powley are a massive part of that.
Do you want to just elaborate on that for those of us who are not in the training sessions or on the field with you? And we don't quite, we're talking about counting numbers and how that organisation is compared to where you'd played before?
I just think it's understanding of the game. And look, there's 13 players on a pitch. There's 2 markers and 1 fullback, so that leaves 10 in a line. And wherever you land on a field, say as easy as they land it on a 50%, a 20%, or an 80%, whatever, however you want to break it down, there'll be a certain amount of defenders in them spaces, and how you manipulate them with your attackers. And look, it's simple as they might have 4 from a near post, and they got me thinking and got me playing a different way to what I'd ever played before. And if they've got 4 defenders, we're going to go with 5 defenders, and it's a mismatch. We're always going to have an overlap if we run the right play. So we could speak for ages and get real detailed about that, but it's just got me. It got me playing a different way, and Castleford's success and all that were down to kind of the style in which they played. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic, and I know it suited my game to perfection, and that's where the next few years I really kicked on as a player.
You were signed to replace Mark Sneed. I think he was just moving on at the time. So I'm not sure how that all dovetailed, whether he already indicated he was going or whether it was a case of you were available and then he went as a result of that. But you probably know. But fairly quickly, you've already been given that responsibility of being the acting skipper, because I think Mickey Shenton got injured, didn't he? Maybe second season
I think
you were there.
Well, that might have been next season, I think. Yeah. I think that might have been 16. But 15, we had a real good year. I think we finished 5th twice, just not quite getting to, I think 15 and 16, we finished just out. And same again, you'd be able to beat the bigger team, but not on a consistent basis. And the team were going fantastic, teamed up with Dorney again. I remember Michael Shenton having a big impact. At start, the whole start of the cast, I remember playing the first 4 games. It wasn't all playing swimming, to be fair. I remember, I think round 4, we got pumped by St Helens. And we had a bit of a meeting after the game. And I think I said, I'm struggling with the way you're wanting me to play. So it wasn't all, I kind of missed that part out. It wasn't all plain sailing before, and I was struggling with what they wanted me to do, because I was used to playing in front of the line and dominating that. But at Castleford, the likes of Grant Millet and Ads Milner, you play behind the line quite a lot, and they're giving you the ball. And I remember playing against St Helens, and I had no time whatsoever, and they just kept coming, and we got hammered. And I remember saying to Pally, I'm struggling, and we had a bit of a heated debate after the game. And I've said this in the press before. So there was a time that probably it wasn't going to work, and I probably bit the bullet. And as you probably know, I'm quite stubborn, but I bit the bullet and said, "Look, I'll play how you want me to play." And then I think that a key part of this, I moved over. I was playing right side, and I moved over to Shenton's side, which is left side. And then I reckon that probably was the making of it. Shenny knows how he wants to play. He knows the game inside out, and I think that was a real big part of why it worked. And then we've kind of never looked back since from that round 4.
Is that, I mean, sitting in a meeting with your peers, people who you respect, and saying, I can't handle how you're asking me to play. That's got to be a fairly big thing to do, because you kind of, in a way, having to swallow your pride to do that, especially if you are as stubborn as you say you are. So you've got to feel quite comfortable, confident that you're seen as a senior player by then to be able to say that, don't you?
Yeah, well, look, I think the halfback in the team is that player anyway, and I'm real vocal. If I don't think something's right, I'd say it. And I can remember I was struggling. I was struggling to play how they wanted me to play, and Pally's like, trust me, we'll get it. And I did trust him, and I'd say the rest is history. And like I say, I just think that move, and I think it was Pally and Shenton's call to kind of move me to left edge. I think they'd been working on it behind my back, and they'd been saying, look, I want you to take him on left edge. And we laughed. To be fair, we'd laughed about it a few times as the years went on. And I would say it's a massive. And then from there, I think I got Dream Team then 3 consistent years, 15, 16, 17, and then 3 Albert Goldthorpes on the trot as well. So I just think it kind of all works, and it all comes together, playing with great players who kind of make space for me as well. Teamed the back up with Dorney, and then throughout that, as I say, Shenton, Paul McShane come in, Zach Hardacre come in, and then it all fit in, and it worked perfectly.
I mean, you're talking about 2 belting players there. Luke Dawn, what a reader of the game, and Zach Hardacre, just an instinctive, natural, freakish sort of talent.
Yeah, look, I think it was fantastic, and Donny retired in 16. I think 2016, and we were like, you could go again here. We know he could go again. He was silky. And it was like, wow, who are we going to sign now? And then we ended up getting Zach, who a former Man of Steel. And that's kind of when, in 17, it all kind of come together. And I always say this. I remember we went on a warm weather training camp. And I think 16, we just fell short again. But we knew we'd been building and had the nucleus of good squad. We added a couple in. We brought Zach in, and then Paul McShane, obviously, another year on his back, and knew how it just all fit in seamlessly. And I remember pre-season 2017, we go to Club La Santa in Lanzarote, and it was probably the best week's training I've ever had as a professional athlete. I remember just how good and how quick, and we were playing with the ball. And I remember I come home from that trip, and I was like, we've got a serious team here. I've never, just the fluidity in attack it was impressive, and it was impressive to watch.
And it was impressive to watch that season. So it clearly was no surprise to you to do what you did that season, because although the end product, which we'll come back to in a moment, didn't quite happen for you. The rest of it that preceded that, I mean, you won that by, in racing parlance, as we both love our GGs, you won that by a distance, didn't you? The league leadership.
It was, and I think we were playing a game that I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. I don't think anyone's played footy like that. It was just a different way of playing, and we were in that much of a groove that year that it was fantastic. And I just think everyone knew the roles so well, and we'd been working to try and get there, and it all just fit into place that year. And I think we had 6 or 7 players who all had career best seasons, and that combined, as I say, we won the league leaders pretty convincingly, and then look, we fell at the final hurdle in the big one, the challenge, the grand final at Old Trafford, and still it still gets me to this day. I'm good friends with Danny Maguire, and I give him a bit of stick about it. And honestly, it was a strange setup. Zach being done before the game didn't help, and I just think we kind of played the conditions massively wrong. And I've said this on camera: if for anything, I'd learn how to play them conditions on a wet night there. Don't try and win by 40 points. Just try and win the game. It was disappointing, honestly. It took me quite a while to get over. It took me ages to even watch the game again. But I would say now it's made me a better player for sure.
I mean, it was. You could never have ruled Leeds out going into that game, and probably actually, and there's no coaching or sporting thought, if you like, going into this comment. It's more a case of you'd already beaten them 4 times, I think, that season, haven't you? How many times are you going to beat Leeds 5 times, or any other team 5 times in a year? There's a bit of a law of averages thing comes into this.
There is, I suppose, that is a great law of average. And not only beat them, I think we played them off the park as well. I reckon we were probably, and the Leeds lads would say we're a 30-point better team than them that season. But on the big occasion, they've done it. They've been there. They've played the conditions. Magpie has been there that many times, and he played the conditions perfectly. We lose Zach. We put Greg Eden there, and we still try and play the way we've played all year. I suppose a bit like maybe how Bielsa's playing at Leeds now. We probably only knew that way, and that way of being expansive and putting a show on. Now, whenever you see a grand final, I don't think they rarely won like that. If I look back throughout the 20 odd years of the Super League, they rarely won like that. They're always close games. They're built on a kicking game, built on high completions. I think we made like 15 errors, or more than 15 errors. Might have even been 19 errors. And that don't win you a league game, let alone a final. So lessons learned, 100%. And yeah, I still give Magpie a bit of. It was just all aligned for Magpie that night. The stars were in the sky for Danny's swan song.
Yeah, and what's it like then? That you got that relationship with Magpie. I know you race horse ownership with him, and you've got more of that to come. But when you played against each other in a massive game like that, and you are mates, is there much conversation ever takes place about it afterwards? Is he a bit too tentative to take the mickey out of you, and you don't really want to talk about it either, or what?
No, it don't. I remember that, and I'd be the first one to congratulate him after the grand final. I knew it meant a lot to him, that one. He was going. He knew he was leaving Leeds, and to go off like that, I think I know how much it meant to him. And look, I played a few times against that year. Him and Paul McShane. We'd all go for a coffee round where we live, and Paul Paul is the grubbiest player you could ever wish to. And I remember saying to him during games, I'd say, I want you to get him today. And him and Magsy had got at each other that good. And they fell out that many times on pitch because Macca just hits in late, or he nearly broke his nose one game. And I remember they were going, two good friends of each other's, and they were nearly toe to toe. And I remember Macca just used to. So I remember Danny and Macca had many a good battle, to be fair. He did the same with me, actually. He did the same with me early on this year. Everywhere I looked, he were after me. So that's just how he plays, and that's how he is as a character.
That's one of the great things I think about the sport is that, you know, you see lads who are clearly mates. Sometimes you don't even know before you watch them go up against each other that they are mates. And they could be worst enemies the way you see them interact on the field. But they shake hands and have a beer afterwards. And it's just an amazing sport for the respect that people have got for fellow professionals.
That's how it is, and that's how it's always been. You can go and you'd want to kill them after the game. You'd want to kill them through the game, but after the game you shake their hand, and that's how it is. And I think that's a sport in general. That's how it's played. It's a tough sport. You're going to go. You do everything to win, but as soon as the whistle goes for 80 minutes, you're friends again. And that's what I love.
I can't recall any situations, but are you going to admit to ever being a bit naughty on the field? You know, getting a little too in when the cameras are not on you?
No, I suppose I'd probably say I'm cocky, or the fans give me a bit of stick and they'd say that I'm dirty, but I'm not dirty. I'm just probably annoying to play against, if I'm honest.
And you like it that way?
Yeah, I like it that way. I do. Yeah, I'm a competitor and I want to win, so I'd probably do anything to win. So when it's like that, you kind of rub people the wrong way. Me and Zach at the semi-final this year, I remember me and Zach having a bit of a go, and I remember texting him after the game, saying, "Look, what we're carrying on at? Like, I'm 85 kilos wet through, and you know what I mean? I suppose, and we had a laugh after the game, but it got quite heated during the game, and I'm like, what we're doing here? But I suppose that's how it is. Zach's the exact same. Zach will do anything to win. You saw that this year for Wigan. I thought he were outstanding.
What's different at Headingley then compared to everywhere else you've played at?
Look, the move come about, and I thought that my time at Cass were great. I'd had the injury, and I'd done 5 years there. And then for me, the move back home made complete sense. I wanted it to happen. I'd loved my time at Cass. I'm grateful for everything that they've done for me, the coaches, the players. I've got a lot of friends there still. But when the move come about to Leeds, it was a no-brainer, to be honest. And the more I sat on it, the more I wanted it. It just made complete sense, and I felt like I was the perfect fit for them as well. I knew that I could make a difference, sort of thing. I knew that I'd be a good fit, and I wanted the move, and they did as well. And look, thankfully, it come off, and I just think look, you go to Leeds, you look at the Headingley on a Friday night, the stadium's immaculate, the training facilities are fantastic, and it just felt like I was coming home, to be honest. And I'm real thankful that I got to do it as well.
Was there an element then that you'd kind of gone as far as you could go as a unit at Cass, because that was the biggest opportunity of the lot, wasn't it? 2017 grand final. And when that's gone and something like this opportunity comes up, is that all the more easier decision to make? It's not like you've gone back in 2018 and then won it, and so you've established, if you like, an era at Castleford. It was
I think it was just the perfect time for me to move. As I say, I'd been injured as well, quite a lot the last 18 months at Castleford, and I probably needed the move myself to freshen me up, and that was the biggest. That was the single most biggest factor. I wanted the move, and I knew that to move to Leeds would freshen my mindset and would freshen me up massively, and that's why that was the single most biggest influence myself.
And then from a personal point of view, you know, you've talked about the gut-wrenching 2017 grand final and how much of that, the impact that had on you as an individual player to set things right when you get your next opportunity in a final at Wembley in October 2020, and you come out a winner. Not only a winner, but the fella who dinks over that winning point. What?
Yeah, unbelievable feeling, absolutely unbelievable. And I think the journey at Leeds as well. Go to Leeds. Rich Agard's done a fantastic job. We're kind of a new group. They'd come from a couple of barren years and not where they want to be. So I'm proud of the journey we've been on already. Only been there a year. The lads are fantastic. The coaching staff are fantastic. Everyone at the club's fantastic. And just to kind of the bowed out against Bradford, and I would say I wasn't part involved with Leeds then, but I would say that'd be one of the most, what's the word, humiliated, I would say, for Bradford to get bragging rights on Leeds. I think that was one of Rich's first jobs as a coach, as a Leeds coach. So for how far the group's come in a short period of time, Rich did a fantastic job in pre-season in Lanzarote. We got the boys tight. So then to go out, I led the boys out, being captain of my hometown club was massive, and to get the job done on that big stage was fantastic, yeah. And just how the game went, it was, I'm not sure what it was like to watch. I've actually watched it back a couple of weeks ago. But I felt like we was in control. The game plan was fantastic. With the points on the board didn't say that. It was a tight game. But then the second half, we were like, wow. I honestly thought we'd kind of thrown it away. They got a try off Richie Myler's error. And I remember getting Myler and saying, look, we'll go down here. You'll get to try back and we'll win it. So how the game, I suppose it's all the drama of a Challenge Cup final. That's what I'm trying to say. And missed the drop goal, missed one to the right. And I got another opportunity a few minutes later. And I didn't miss with that one. And even then, there was no emotion after that drop goal because I knew the game wasn't over. I would say we were quite tense. We're a young side. There were a lot of tension built up. And no, it was just all the drama of all that and what's gone beyond. I can remember just a final whistle, and it was just an unreal feeling. Yeah.
I mean, the golden generation we've referred to, they had to start winning sometime. Could it be the start of a second wave?
Why not? Why not? Yeah, I think that did take a lot of emotion out of us, and I think we never quite the next 8 games after that we never quite hit our straps. The Wigan game before that I thought was outstanding. That was a performance of the year, and I reckon that give Wigan a kick up the backside as well, because they looked a different animal after that. They looked a different beast altogether, and then we kind of never hit our straps after that. And look, I think there's valid reason for it. I'm not saying I'm accepting it, but we'd kind of hit that emotion of, look, it's been a tough year. The COVID's it's hit the game massively, and playing with no fans is terrible. It's not nice. We've just done the best we can, and I think rugby league need commending on that. The powers that be, we've got the game on, but it's not great. It's not great to play in. So we'd kind of hit that high of Wembley, and it's like, I remember coming in on Tuesday or Wednesday after, it's like, we've got to go again here, boys. And that's even harder with no fans.
Yeah, I think and there's a lot made of this year on year in rugby league. There are a lot of very good sides who won at Wembley and then their form has dropped off. And with respect to the current Leeds squad, probably more successful, better sides maybe in the history of Super League than what you've got at the moment, who've had a storming season, gone to Wembley and won, and then they've dropped off before grand final time. So you could definitely, as a fairly new bunch of players, be forgiven for that, I think. At the end of the day, there's only 3 trophies you can win, and you got one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Briscoe said that he's been at Leeds a lot of years, and I think he can only remember winning once after the Challenge Cup final. So he's won the following week. He's only won 1 game out of how many times they've got there. So no, I do think it took a lot out of us emotionally more than physically, and this with COVID as well. I think it was even tighter to the end of the year than it normally is. Obviously, it's normally is it in August? I think normally the Challenge Cup final.
It was supposed to be in July this year, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, it was meant to be July. Yeah, and then obviously, so look, and I think what happened then, we got beat by Catalan. I didn't think we were great that game. I think I thought we were probably. I still thought at a point we were going to probably nick it. We lost 2 middles early on, which kind of didn't help. But I do think your initial point was the team. I thought St Helens and Wigan set down the platform in that grand final. I thought they was outstanding. And they set the platform of what we need to be next year. And we know where we need to be. We know where we need to improve. So I think they set the benchmark, that grand final, against each other, because I thought it was a fantastic game and a great advert for Super League. They set the benchmark of where we want to get to.
Yeah, that was, I mean, we referred to your drop goal at Wembley. We haven't even mentioned your drop goal at Weldon Road against Saints that night. You know what it's all about with dramatic last-minute winners, and nothing more dramatic than what we saw at Hull the other week.
It was, honestly, it was one of the best games I've ever watched, and there weren't many tries, but the defence was outstanding. I thought Wigan's goal line D were fantastic, and Saints, to be fair, didn't look like scoring. And then on the hooter, Tommy Makinson steps up, and look, you know when they've got a chance to drop goals as soon as they come off the boot, and it looked like it were going over. Then it was just the drama of that. I mean, I was watching it with Kirby in here in my house, and I can remember I couldn't even fathom what had happened. It was just fantastic, and I thought it brought the curtain down on a fantastic season, and they need applauding St Helens and Wigan for that spectacle. And I remember you watch it and you think, look, that's a level you've got to be at next year. I think defensively as well.
Look, I don't want to get too political on this podcast because, well, I just don't really. But I think whatever you say about the administrators in the game, and historically rugby league fans like to carp on at that, and often with good reason. I just think that the players, time and again, save the game. They do the best possible promotion for the sport, and you could not get a better advert than what you saw that night.
Yeah, I remember seeing tweets from people, boxers, celebrities, and I think anyone who watches sport, who likes sport, you watch that for 80 minutes, you're going to be entertained. So I can remember doing a piece after that, just commending how good both teams were. I thought Wigan were fantastic. I thought a bit unlucky as well. I thought they showed a lot of character, and for just an all-round great game. And it's as I say, one of the best games I've ever witnessed, and it's done rugby league the world of good. And fair play, take me out of them.
We kept you on for a while, so we're actually ask you a few more things because there's so much with your career to talk about. So it's a great pleasure for me to be able to do this with you, and I do thank you once again for your time, Luke. But we haven't even mentioned Man of Steel 2017 when I was stepping back a little bit here, but to win that accolade where it is now voted for by your fellow professionals and a stellar panel. You mentioned Ellery Hanley earlier on. What was that like, and especially for the boy who had to leave Leeds?
Yeah, it was a fantastic night. and to be, it kind of didn't sink in. And I said this to, I was speaking about it the other week actually, I think it was to Cam Smith, it probably didn't sink in until after the season, and because it's so close to, I think it's the same week as the grand final. It was the same week. So you can't celebrate it too much. Well, you can't celebrate it all because on Saturday your main focus is playing in the grand final. So when the dust settles, it's something that can never be taken away from you. And I'm real proud of that. I remember sat around the table with Zach. Zach was nominated for it as well. And to be fair, Zach was the first person to get up and congratulate me. I think Albert Kelly was the other one, I think. Yeah. So yeah, it's the only trophy I'm actually allowed in the house as well. So it's the only trophy that's on show. All the rest are hidden away. The wife don't let them out. So yeah, it's the only one that I'm allowed on show. So it shows. Look, I think it's fantastic, and there's so many good players, great players that have won the trophy, and your name's forever with them. So it's something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, and rightly so. And then World Cup final. I mean, we're jumping straight through the tournament now, and what a tournament that was. And so agonisingly close to being, if you're not, well, you already are a hero to many people, but to being able to get your hands on that trophy. How long did it take you to come down after the final that day? Because it took me and many of the viewers. I was at Headingley watching it on a big screen inside the cafe bar there. Brilliant atmosphere, and the tension was unbelievable. 12,000 miles away or whatever it is, but to be there. Oh.
I just think the whole year that you've actually said there, I think, so I've gone from Man of Steel, then you go from disappointment in the grand final. Then I think 4 days after, I flew out to Australia for the World Cup, and the whole tournament was fantastic. Wayne Bennett were great. We stayed at all different cities. How it works, we went Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, down to New Zealand, and we got to see everywhere of Australia and New Zealand. It was fantastic. Played some good footy along the way. The semi-final itself was unreal. The atmosphere and the game there, probably the best atmosphere I've ever been involved in. It was electric. I couldn't see one English supporter. It was honestly, it was all just Tongan support, but fantastic. The emotion of that game, the late no try, that was fantastic. And then to get to the big one, and I think that was the first time. It was probably the toughest game I've ever played, if I'm honest. Just set for set. And I realised that's what it takes to be at that top level, and to go down by the narrowest of margins. Callum breaks, and it's like it was just the whole event was fantastic. But yeah, we come up short. And it was disappointing, but I was proud of how we played and how we handled ourselves, really.
Can you reflect on that and just feel that you've been part of something incredibly special when you lose a final by the narrowest of margins?
Yeah, look, no one remembers the losers, if I'm honest. And hopefully, I'll just fast forward. Hopefully, I can be part of the one coming up next year. We've got a new coach, Sean Wayne. We've had many good chat with Sean Wayne. I think he'll be great for the job. You know how much passion he's got. So we want to make amends and go win it this year in our own country. And I think we have every right to, and I think we can. But rewinding back, I do feel proud of you're in their back garden, and I think we travelled everywhere. We, as I say, every week it was a different city, and to then culminate in Brisbane at the Suncorp and go down by the narrowest of margins. And you were absolutely spent. I remember it was the toughest game, as I said, I've ever been part of. But then you're disappointed. But then the pride comes out, and you're proud of of how we played and how we went down. We went down on a sword. Hopefully, we get to make amends in 2021.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm sure you'll be working hard on that and hard on making sure you're first choice at seven, because, as you say, new coach, you never quite know, do you?
No, definitely not. We've got some great halfbacks. George gone over there. George Williams been fantastic. Johnny Lomax over here. So look, I suppose if you're playing well, you pick yourself sort of thing. And if you're playing that well that Sean kind of can't keep you out of the team, I suppose that's what all 17 will want to do. Come put their hand up for the World Cup squad.
Yeah, and we'll wish you an injury-free 2021 season. Whatever happens, we're not going to make any predictions on when and if you're going to be playing and all the rest of it, because we don't know what's going on. But hopefully we'll get a full season in starting in March, and it'll be a great end to a wonderful time. Anything that you would change about what's been a superb career so far?
No, but while we're on the England, I wouldn't change a thing. But while we're on the England, I feel that I've not played my best in an England shirt, and I'd be the first to admit that. I said this to Wayne, actually. I don't feel like I've done myself justice. For whatever reason, I just don't think I've quite grasped it. So I know I've got kind of unfinished business in an England shirt. I want to go there, put that England shirt on and make a difference. So I wouldn't change anything, but if I've got one thing, I know that I want to play for England. I want to play to how I know I can play. So that's probably one thing through my career that I would change. Not change it. I think change is the wrong word. I know that I've not done myself justice and not played to the top of my potential. So that's one thing. Hopefully I get another crack 2021 and I go out and play for Wayne and do myself justice and do my country justice as well.
Interesting. Okay. So there are still things on a personal and team level for Luke Gale to want to achieve. Let's just talk, if we can, to wrap things up really, on the number 7, the iconic number 7 shirt at Headingley, and obviously we touched on right at the top of the piece, my first recording with Francis Cummins last year, on the day that it was put out in a press release that Rob Burrow was diagnosed with MND. What does it mean to you in the first place to be able to wear that shirt that he graced so often and so successfully in his time? Yeah,
look, how it transpired, obviously signing for Leeds and number 7, and the news come out about Rob. I said this quite early on, and I remember I played against Rob probably throughout all my career. I played against him in that number 7 jersey, and just the way he played the game, he played tough. He fought above his size, and it was just a warrior. And that's hard to say about a guy that's that small, but he was a warrior. And I said, if I could do half, not even a quarter of much what he's done, but if I can go out there and play the same way that he played, I'd be proud. And I do feel a huge sense of pride. Even watching the awards last night, and they made a reference of number 7, and it makes me feel proud. And the way he's fighting M&D is exactly as he played on the field. And I just think the way he's kind of opened his life up is fantastic to get the M&D to try and find a cure. I think the way he's done that is commendable. His wife and his family are doing a great job as well. So I have every admiration for him. I know a lot of our team played with him. A lot of the coaches did as well. So it kind of hit home this year, and it's been a tough year all around. And I just think the way that the rugby league community has got together, the way that Rob's handled himself is absolutely commendable, and it's fantastic. I think it was capped beautifully last night on the Sports Personality of the Year awards, and it makes me proud to wear the number 7. It makes me proud of my club, Leeds Rhinos, as well, and proud of our sport as well.
And at the same time, incredibly sad, because you're in the thick of it yourself out there. The knocks that you take as a player. We don't know exactly what causes NND, but the sort of stuff that Rob took as a player, being so small, and you do start to think to yourself, maybe that's got something to do with it. Is that something that even yourself has it crossed your mind about your own physical and mental well-being?
Not for 1 second, no. And I think whenever you step out there on the whitewash, from being 6 years old to when you retire, I don't think you take a second's care for your self-regard. And I would say that through the whole of rugby league. It's not even in question. I mean, you'll put your head in places where they're not meant to go. You'll, at the chance of winning a rugby game, you'd put your body anywhere. And I don't think, as I say, as a rugby player, it would ever be questioned what you do on a rugby pitch. My wife my fiance might say a bit different. I'd say I'd come home with a broken rib, or I'd come home with something like a little cut on my eye. And my kids now, she'd say, "Dad, you can't play today, Dad." I remember playing with stitches, and she was saying, "Dad, you can't play. You've got stitches in your eye." So I suppose on that level it's different, but I think as soon as each player crosses the whitewash, you have no regard for your own body.
Without wanting to wind on too quickly, but I think we should just finish off by saying where you see your future. Hopefully, if we had this conversation 12 months to the day, you'd be a World Cup winner by then. We don't know, but what about when rugby league finishes? Have you got any longer term plans for that? Is it something you don't want to consider yet? Is it coaching? Is it something else?
Yeah, it's not that you don't want to consider it. You have to. You know your time's going to come one day. Look, the coaching side of it, I love the game. I think about the game a lot. So I do think as a coach I could have something to offer. Whether I'd want to run the team, I'm not so sure. It seems a pretty stressful job at times. I've got other interests away from the sport. I love my horses. Quite like property and stuff like that. So I have other interests away from the sport, but it's not even. I had the conversation with my daughter actually of retirement, or she didn't really get it. And I said, she asked me, and I said, look, I can't do this forever. Like this, you can't do it forever. And she said, when will you retire then, Dad? And I said, I don't know. I've got a few more years left in me. And she can't grasp me retiring. She thinks I'm going to do this forever, which I wish I could do it forever. And I remember trying to explain to a 6-year-old that at one time you do have to walk away and you do have to hang your boots up. But like I say, I feel like I've got plenty left in me at this moment in time. I actually been training today. I look back at my injuries last year, and if I rewind to last year, I'm at a probably 20-30% better place now than where I was last year. I feel like I'm hitting me things in the gym, my strength in the gym that I hit back in 17. So I do feel like I've got miles more to give, and I know the Leeds team that I'm in at the minute, I know it's a good team, it's a young team, and I suppose I probably won't be happy, Jonathan, until we get the league leaders ring, and that's when I'll retire a happy man. And a World Cup as well. The World Cup in 2021. That's a huge goal.
So when you've done all that, and you're not small, but you're not one of the bigger players in the league, and with your passion for racing, do a bit of wasting, go off and winner of an Ascot Gold Cup.
He'd have to put a bit up overweight the jockey. I don't reckon I could get down to I might do 12 stone, top weight of a big handicap. But no, I love the racing game, as you well know. I have a couple of interests outside of it, starting to get into the breeding side as well. So I did see Billy Slater this week. He's selling one at a big sale in Australia, Magic Millions, a real well-bred horse. I think that might go for a few quid as well. So no, I have great interest. As I say, the racing is a huge passion of mine, and I'm sure we'll speak about it in years to come.
Yep, Burrow 7, that brings us nicely to that, I suppose, as well, and something that we've both got an interest in, and hopefully we might see him win a race next year.
Fantastic, yeah. I think the whole syndicate as a whole is fantastic. It's exciting. It kind of brings everyone together, and I think when the horse hits the track, I think there'll be huge coverage on the horse. So hopefully he lives up to his namesake.
Let's hope so. Luke, we've kept you a long time, but this is going to be split up into several parts, I think, now. But it's been an absolute joy talking to you, listening to what you've got to say about all those experiences. You've entertained us massively on the field and now off it as well. So thank you so much for your time. We wish you an injury-free rest of your career and hope that you can achieve everything that you still want to achieve. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.